Hey guys, it's me again. Here we are, last lesson of Word, lesson 9. So make sure we have our lesson 9 folder open. What you're going to want to do is you're going to save these two pictures. So we're going to save this picture, download, and then do the same thing for the Nancy Reagan picture, download. Okay. Make sure we have those two pictures because we're going to insert those into a document. And then we have Office 365 open. I'm going to go to class notebook and we'll open the class notebook for this. So click on manage notebooks and then you should see this one. That one actually is this is what it looks like to me, but I'm just going to open the notebook. You can also just go to OneNote and open it as well. That works too. So now we're going to look at what we can do from the instructions in Word Online. Like other lessons, we're not going to be able to do everything, but this one we're actually going to be able to do more than you might think. So I'm going to go to the Word folder in the content library and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to start on this one. It says formatting a research paper. You can scroll past this first stuff. It's just telling you what lesson or what skills we're going to be learning: citations, footnotes, endnotes, table of contents, captions, headers and footers, cover page, and bookmarks. Going down the list here, we're not going to be able to do citations. We will be able to do footnotes and endnotes. No on table of contents, no on captions. Headers and footers we will be able to do. Cover page we won't be able to do, and bookmarks we won't be able to do. But we'll get to do some other stuff and get some more practice on some of the things that we have done before. So I'm going to scroll down because there are instructions at the bottom of this page. And we're going to use one document for this entire lesson. So you'll keep this document open. We're going to go to OneDrive, back to our lesson 9 folder. We're going to click on the firstladies.docx to open it, and it should be this basic document in Courier text, Courier font. Starts with the evolving role of the First Lady, and it goes from there. First thing we're going to do is make sure we save a copy on our own. So we click File, Save As. I'm going to click Save As again, and click Save to another folder so that I have my own copy of it. I'm going to go to my Microsoft Imagine Academy folder, click on Word, and then I'm going to create a new file folder called Lesson 9. Click Create, and then I'll click on Lesson 9 to open it, and then I'm just going to click Save to save this file there. Okay, now with the online version, remember you'll have it always automatically saved, so we're not going to do any of the saving that happens in the lesson. We're just going to do the work to get it done, and then it'll automatically save for us. Okay, so we go back to our instructions, and it's going to tell you about MLA Style. There are two major formats or styles for research papers: MLA, APA. MLA is the Modern Language Association, APA is the American Psychological Association. We're going to be going through MLA guidelines in this one, but you'll just want to keep in mind that if you're writing a paper in college, the professor should tell you what style to use, and there's plenty of style guides online that'll help you with that. We're going to stick to MLA style just to keep it consistent. So the MLA style, we have the first thing we should have is some basic information. So we're going to add this basic information to the top of our paper. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to hit Enter twice to give a couple of spaces. I'm going to go back to the top, and then we're going to type in. We got the name. This is Victoria de Leon, Professor Frank Smith, History 101, and then the date. And it says XX here. It's so that we can enter in the year that we're in. So we'll use 2020. So Victoria de Leon, Professor Frank Smith. If I remember right, go back and check. Yep. History. Oops. Hit enter first. History 101. And then March 19th, 2020 is what we'll use. Okay. Now we're going to do some more formatting. So we're going to select the whole thing and change it to the Arial font with 12-point size. And then we'll change the margins to 1 inch on the top and double. And that's going to happen to the whole document. So go back here. We're going to select everything. So I'm just going to click and drag all the way down. Okay. Make sure we've got everything selected. I'm going to click select from the list. Here we go. I'm going to select, scroll down and select Arial. And then we'll select size 12. While we still have everything selected, we're going to go to Layout, Margins, and we're going to select 1 inch margins all around. That's the normal choice. And then back to Home, and we're going to click on this button here for line spacing. You can also pop up the line spacing here, and we can choose line spacing double. We could also choose double from here as well, or we click line spacing options. Okay, so now we're all double spaced. Now we're going to go back. We're going to select everything except for this and do some stuff. We're going to use the first line indent. And then we're going to add an indent to some specific stuff. So let's do that first. We're going to do the first line indent. So I'm going to select everything that except for the, well, I guess it's except for the title too, huh? So we're going to select everything after the essential role of the First Lady, all the way down to the bottom. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and click on the special indent button and choose first line. Therefore, now we have a first line indent everywhere. We'll go back to the top and we're going to actually go, let's find where we're going to do some work. So it says under Women in Politics, position the insertion point in the second paragraph beginning with "the nation has always," and that whole sentence that ends with "in the background." We're going to adjust the left indent to 1 inch and remove the first line indent. We won't be able to be that exact, but we'll go here. So here's our Women in Politics. We go to the second paragraph. What's nice is because we're in the paragraph, we don't need to select the paragraph. We just need to put our insertion point at the beginning of it. What we can do is simply increase the indent ourselves by clicking the increase indent button, and then we can remove this one by clicking the special indent button and selecting no. So now we've removed the first line indent and we've indented the whole thing. Okay. Says the evolving role of the First Lady. We're going to center the title. So we're going to go back to the top here. We want this one. We're going to center this. Go back down. We're going to select each of these headings and apply a heading 1 style and bold them. Now, if this were the desktop version, we could do this pretty easily because we could select and then we could use the control key and press and hold control and then select the next one, and we could apply it to all of them at once. Fortunately, Word Online, it doesn't work like that. So we have to do it ourselves. So for each one, we're going to do this in order. We're going to click a heading and then click bold. And you can tell the headings because there'll be a small amount of words on its own line. But you can make sure of it by looking for these titles or these headings. Okay, so Women in Politics, heading 1, bold. You'll notice as we do this, when I use the heading 1 style, the heading 1 style moves the heading back to the left margin because that's how the style works. So, and that's what we want actually. We don't want that in line with the first line indent. We want it in line with the main part of the text. So, I think we got them all. We'll go back through and make sure. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can move forward. We don't need to save again because it'll automatically save. You can look at this page, but we will not be able to be making citations. Citations are when you have a reference, you have a document or a book or something that you are referencing in your note in your paper. You want to make sure you give credit to the author, and there's multiple types of citations. There's a works cited page at the end, which gives you all the information about all the different documents that were used. And then there's also in-text citations. And Word will do both of those in the desktop version. It won't do it at all in the online version. So we can pretty much, we're going to just kind of skip all of these. It'd be good to read over these, though, to understand how to do it when it comes to doing the test. Because you would still be expected to do it in the test. Okay. There will be some other things that we may be able to do in some of the things. But in this case, we're not able to do any of this, really. This is just all citations and the works cited page. That's all stuff you can do in the online version of Word. So again, I encourage you to read it. If you want to get an idea of that while you're watching this video, you can stop the video and then continue when you're ready. Okay, we'll go on to inserting in footnotes and endnotes now. Footnotes and endnotes are placed at the bottom of the document. So a footnote is placed at the bottom of the page that the citation is located on, and an endnote is placed at the end of the document no matter what. They're automatically numbered in Word, both Word Online and Word Desktop. The difference is in Word Desktop you have a lot more control over what they look like. Word Online, you still have quite a bit of control of what they look like, just not as much. So we're going to insert some footnotes, and then we'll talk about how we convert them to endnotes if we need to. So the first thing we're going to do is insert our first footnote. So we're going to insert a footnote at the end of the second paragraph in Women in Politics. So I'm going to go to the First Ladies. Here's our Women in Politics. Here's the second paragraph. I'm going to click to put the insertion point there at the end, and then we're just going to add. We're going to go to References and Insert Footnote. And you'll see a little number 1, superscript 1, and then it's going to let us type in all the stuff. So we're going to type in all of this. The easy way to do this, though, might be to just copy and paste. Copy and paste. Now, what we can do is we can go back to home and apply the normal style to it so that it looks better, because it's going to copy exactly how you see it in OneNote. Okay, so we're going to add 2 more footnotes. So if you click out of here, we can get back to the document. Click anywhere on the screen that's outside of that box. Okay, and now let's see where we need to go. Under History of First Ladies, at the end of the second sentence before Anthony. So History of First Ladies, right here. That's where we're going to put that. We're going to go to References, insert another footnote, and you notice it's got a 2 now instead of a 1, because it's the second footnote. And we're going to put all of this in there. Okay, copy there. Back here, Control V to paste. We'll go ahead and select it. As I showed you, you can have quite a bit of control. We can control font and everything. And add 1 more footnote in the Roll the First Ladies section. So click out, Roll the First Ladies, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I miss one maybe? Because I think it said before advocates. Let's see. Yeah, just after advocates, I should say. So, okay, that's what we want. I'm going to go ahead while I'm here and copy this while I'm here. And then we'll go ahead and References, insert our footnote, add our footnote text, select it, and we'll go ahead and return it back to normal. Okay. So now, as I said, we can format these footnotes we can do actually quite a bit of formatting with footnotes, I should say. So if I go to the first ladies.doc, if I go ahead and click on the number, it'll open up the footnotes automatically, and I can go and scroll between them. We're going to start with the first footnote, and it wants us to do a hanging indent. We won't have control over how much. Well, I think we can, but we'll see. And then single space. It's already set to single space, and then we're going to change it to the after setting. We're going to add 12-point font. So if you click here, you're only going to see these options. That's not what we're actually going to do. We're going to select the whole thing, and then we're going to go up here and do what we would normally do for text. So I'm going to click on the paragraph dialog box launcher. Okay. Make sure it's set to single spacing. Okay. We can do a first line. I'm sorry, we're doing a hanging. And it's going to be default by 0.5, so we'll leave that. And then after, set this to 12 point, and then click OK. So it's not going to look like it changes that much, but we did. We're actually going to not do anything to the second footnote. We'll go to the third footnote and do the same things. Okay, so we'll click past the second one onto the third one, select the whole thing, click the paragraph dialog box launcher, change it to single space. That was real quick. Change this to a hanging indent, make sure it says 0.5, and then up this to 12 points. And click OK. In the instructions, it's going to have you go into changing the number format. You can't do that in Word Online, but you could do that in Word Desktop. So we're going to go ahead and move forward, and it talks about converting footnotes to endnotes. So you can, in Word Desktop, convert the footnotes to endnotes. And of course the difference is, and you can see this, so I can show you how to see what the footnotes are going to look like when you actually print the document. So if we go to View and we click Reading View, it's going to show us what it'll look like when we print it. Okay, so here you see our footnote here, and then at the bottom are the footnotes listed on the page. And then here, let's see, there's one more footnote. Where'd our footnote number go?
Right, but you still want to make Christmas cookies?
So here's our footnote, and at the bottom of the page is the footnote text. Okay, so the difference is that when we do endnotes, we would still have the markings, and they would still have a number with them, but then all of the notes would appear on this page, the last page. So we're going to go back to editing in the browser, and I can show you how we can do that in Word Online, and maybe we'll just convert one because it is a little time consuming. But basically what we do is I'm going to open up the footnote by clicking on the superscript. I'm going to go ahead and select all the text that I want. So this is the text. We're going to go Control C to copy, and then I'm going to click out in the same spot, and we're just going to go to References and insert an EndNote instead, and then paste the same text. Okay. Now if I go back, it's going to be formatted exactly the same if I check it. So if I click on the paragraph, it should have some of the same formatting. If not, I got to select the footnote itself though. If I select it and I click on the paragraph dialog box, you'll see it has the exact same formatting because I copied and pasted. So then I can go back and, oops, I didn't mean to click on that. I can go back here. I can put my cursor behind the one and hit backspace to delete the footnote. Now, one thing to know, and this is actually noted in here, is that when you delete a footnote, you can see that the footnote numbering will change. So the footnotes will automatically be renumbered when you delete a footnote. I'll show you that real quick. So we made the one footnote at EndNote. Our old number 2, so this was our old number 1 footnote, is now the number 1 Roman numeral EndNote. Our previous number 2 footnote is now our new number 1 footnote because I deleted the first one. So it automatically does that, and you can see down here, here's number 2, the old number 2, or the old number 3 footnote is now a number 2 footnote. And then at the very end, if I go into reading mode, reading view, you can see the difference that only the footnote that is number 1 on this page is listed at the bottom of the page. The other EndNote is at the end of the whole document. And if I converted the other 2, all 3 of them would be there. Go back to editing, and we'll go ahead and move forward. So, because that's all we can really do with footnotes and endnotes. Okay, next couple of sections, again, unfortunately we can't create a table of contents. If a document already had a table of contents, you could, in references, update that table of contents. And what that is that in Word, if you style text as a heading, like we did with all of the headings here, you can create a table of contents in the Word desktop version that would have all of these listed with the proper page that they're on. Okay. If you add to it, you can update it. If you add more headings, you can update it, but we can't create one, unfortunately. So I would encourage you, though, to read through this to kind of understand how to do it. You can see what it looks like and how to format and all that stuff, because that's going to be things that you'll need to be able to do on the exam. Okay. Same thing with captions. A lot of times you can add captions to a table and to pictures. We can't do that, unfortunately, in the online version of Word. However, we are going to go ahead and do this first part where we add the table itself. One, it's good practice in adding tables, and two, it's something we can do, so we might as well do it. So I'm going to go back here, and I guess I should have checked to where we were going to be. Go to the Power of First Ladies. We're going to go at the end of the last paragraph and add a blank line and then insert a table there that's going to be a 2-column, 3-row table. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Power of First Ladies. I'm going to go click here to add the insertion point, hit enter to add a line, and then on the insert, we're going to go to table. I'm going to go 2 columns, 3 rows, add the table. Okay, and then we're going to add some data to the table. We're only going to add to the first row and then in the second column of both rows, because in the first column we're actually going to add those pictures that we downloaded earlier. So we're going to add First Ladies and Years in the White House in this one. So First Ladies, and remember, when you finish with a entering into a cell in the table, you hit Tab to move on to the next cell. Years in the White House. Okay. Oops. And then I hit Tab again and move to the next cell. I'm going to hit Tab one more time because I'm only going to add these two. So the dates, it's easy to remember because in each of these cases we have 2 First Ladies who were with presidents that basically served out their entire terms, and they both did 2 terms. So all of it is on January 20th because that's Inauguration Day, and the first one will be from 1981 to 1989, and the second one from 1993 to 2001. So January 20th, 1981 to January 20th, 1989, and then we'll do a couple of tabs, replicate that January 20th, 1993 to January 20th, 2001. Okay, then we'll go back to this cell because we're going to add the pictures. This first picture is for Nancy Reagan, so we're going to go to Insert, Picture, choose a file, and then you'll be able to find them in your downloads folder on your Chromebook. I've already downloaded them a couple of times, so I can pick either one, but the first one's Nancy Reagan. We'll click it, whoops, I gotta click open. I did that earlier too. Click insert, and that'll insert the Nancy Reagan picture, and then we'll do the same thing to insert the Hillary Clinton picture. Open, insert, and then these are a little big, so we're going to go ahead and resize them. So I'm going to click on the picture, make sure that the picture context tab is open, make sure I click lock aspect ratio, and then I'm going to change these to 1.27 inches. Same thing, lock aspect ratio 1.27. Okay, and then it does say to auto fit the contents, not available in Word Online. You can look, but it's not there. So we can just manually do that, though. We can kind of fit these in here. If you want to do some other formatting, you're welcome to. I'm not going to do much with that beyond this. Like I said, we'll stop there at step 5 because we can't do any of this because we can't add a caption or anything. Same thing with figures. We can't add captions. We can't even add figures or equations or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and move on. Table of figures is another thing that would be a research thing that you could add. You can't do it in Word Online though. Okay, so let's move on to headers and footers. Headers and footers are available, and in MLA format or MLA style, we need to have a header on every page that has the last name of the person followed by the page number. So we need to add that. We are going to add it to the upper right part of the page. So I'm going to a certain degree, follow this, but not really follow it because it's a little bit different in Word Online. And remember, the last name we're using is De Leon because that's the name that was used as the person who created this page, this paper. So we'll go back here, go back to the very first page, and click here at the top of the document. Okay, and we're going to click references again, or I'm sorry, insert, header. No, I don't want header and footer though, getting ahead of myself. We're going to insert page numbers here, and you see it gives us options basically in 6 different places. Upper left, upper middle, upper right, lower middle, and lower left. We're going to use the upper right for this one. So click there, and then in front of that, we're just going to type De Leon and add a space. So now, I know we won't be able to see it. You can click on the header to open it back up to see it. But again, if we want to actually see it, we've got to go into Reading View. But then we can see that it'll add the name and the page number to each page. And it'll automatically count that page. So this is De Leon 1, and then see it De Leon 2, and so on and so forth. So it does add it to every single page. We just don't see it in the Word Online. In section headers, we can't do all the same things we can do in Word Online that we can do in the desktop version. So we can link, normally we could link section headers. This is not opening, let's try reloading. Normally we could link section headers and we can link or unlink, so that what that means is that you would be able to have a header in one section that's different from headers in another section. So we can change a few things. These are some of the same options. You can have these options are the only options you're going to have in Word Online, which means you can have a different first page, you can have a different even and odd page, you can have different all of those, or you can have them all the same. In the desktop version, we could link and unlink specific spots. Can't do that in Word Online. So cover page, same thing. Can't do a cover page online, and we can't create bookmarks. We'll do some links though, stuff we can do, which is on this page. But inserting a cover page, the most basic cover page that you can do is just to put the title approximately centered in the middle, and then like your name at the very bottom. So you can do that manually and then just kind of eyeball it and then take a look at it in reading view to see if it looks okay in the Word Online version. But we don't have access to these in the online version. We can only do that on the desktop version. Okay, but we will add these hyperlinks, but we're also going to have to do these a little bit different because in Word Online we can do hyperlinks. However, we can't hyperlink a picture. You'll notice this. Here's the button we would use. You click on that, and you notice it gets grayed out. And even if I try right-clicking, and there's no option for hyperlink, right? So it doesn't do hyperlinks for images. But if we say hit enter and we add Nancy Reagan's name here, oops, and then select her name, we can link that text. And the one they use is http:// and it's www.firstladies.com/biographies and a finishing slash. And we can insert that one. And we can do the same thing for Hillary Clinton. Then select her name, insert the link, and we'll insert the same exact link. www.firstladies.com/biographies, finishing slash, click insert. Okay, if I wanted to remove that, I could right click on the link and just remove the link if I didn't need the link anymore for whatever reason. So you can do that, can do links, you just can't link files. And we can't do links in the same document, like bookmarks or other links that will be in the same document. So we also can't do screen tips, so you're going to not do those either. We can do email address links. The difference is we have to actually type in the mail to part. Mail to is what tells the browser to open up a mail or an email client or an email program to then send an email. So we're going to use manager@prosware.com, and we're going to select Victoria's name here, and it's not going to be on page 2. It's actually going to be on page 1 because it's assuming we have done a cover page, which we didn't do. So select her name, and then click link, and then we first type mail to, and then it's manager@prosware.com, and click insert, and it's there. We could hit Control click to make it work, follow that link, but know that that's how you add a link for an email. You could have more control over it, like this. There's the mail to command, if you will, has some more options that if you understood how to construct it, you could do that yourself as well, but not a big deal in this case. I'm just trying to show you how you can do an email still in Word Online. And then again, bookmarks. Bookmarks are links, but they're links to different parts of the document, which won't work in Word Online, but you can read through it and understand how to do it in Word Desktop so that you can be able to show that knowledge on the exam itself. So that's all I got for you. It's time to do the knowledge assessment, maybe practice the projects. And remember, just do what you can. I know you won't be able to do all the instructions. If you come to instruction that you don't know how to do, just skip it and move on to the next one. So I hope you're doing okay and everything's going okay. You know where to find me. Email me, signature email, office hours, all that stuff. So see you guys next time.